Hello, everyone. Welcome to Project 24. My name's Adrian. I am your host. Today, happy Monday, first of all, and happy March 1st. I hope this month provides everybody with lots of happiness and opportunity. And yeah, hopefully you could rebound from last, the last year. It's been a year since, quarantine and lockdowns, man. It's gonna be the 1 year mark, and I can't believe it's already been a year. It's just, man, I don't even remember what real life is anymore. It's kind of frustrating that we're still there, are where we are. But again, I just hope everyone has a good month. Marking the 1 year of the COVID lockdowns, and hopefully we can just rebound and just lots of happiness and good vibes all around. So yeah, let's get it kicking here. But Blue Jays started their spring training yesterday. First game against the Yankees. They won 6-4, I believe. And yeah, the team's looking pretty good. It's good so far. I mean, they played a game against Pittsburgh earlier. I'm pretty sure they tied 2-2. I know spring training they have ties. They don't go into extra innings. I think doesn't really see the point. It's just exhibition, which makes sense. But yeah, no, it's looking good, man. Anthony Kay went on the mound yesterday. He looked pretty good. His fastball went up apparently up to 4 miles per hour from like 93.7, I think it was, to 97 now. He's hitting almost 97, 98. That's good velocity. Good for him. I love that kid. He was a big he's gonna be a big part of this team, I think, in the future. He was part of that Stroman trade from July 2019, and he was one of the bigger names, I guess, in the trade. But yeah, hope I'm honestly happy they traded Stroman. Yeah, I'll go into that in a bit. But no, the kids are looking good, and no, it's gonna be a fun season for baseball. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna go grab a bottle of water. I'll be right back. Hopefully, I have some. Got it. Got some water, guys. We're good. But yeah, I was saying about Stroman though. I'm happy they traded him for many reasons, actually, and a lot of the reasons that came out kind of after the trade and near the end of the. He was a very like I didn't realize, but he was a very very toxic player. He's just as an individual, he's just a very toxic individual. Um, I remember hearing last year, sorry, not last year, 2019, he kicked out a bunch of minor leaguers out of the gym. There was about like 30 to 35 of them, and kicked them out of the kicked them out of the gym in Dunedin so he can train by himself. And I heard that, and I was like, wow, I lost a ton of respect for this guy. And I thought he was a lot better than that. And personally, like, he just again, just another one of these like typical like millennial snowflake athletes that can't handle any kind of adversity or criticism. He gets criticized by media members. I remember in Toronto, he was fighting everybody in Toronto. Anyone that said anything bad about him, he would get so offended and he would start going on Twitter and starting fights, causing distractions with the team on the team. Um, and it's fair criticism. I mean, they're not like, I mean, he's not that great of a. I mean, he's good. He's a good pitcher, but I think he was extremely overvalued in Toronto. He lacks leadership in so many ways. Um, Here he is. I remember again Sid Sixero. Shout out to him, by the way, starting his new gig. He's no longer Tim and Sid there, but shout out to Sid. I hope he does well there. But um, yeah, I remember he started last year. He was complaining about the lack of veterans on the team in 2019, start the season. and like he had just like huge chip on his shoulder with the team because they didn't pay him. They paid Gritchuk before they paid him, and I remember Stroman last summer. Stroman was going back and forth with Aubrey Huff, former San Francisco Giant. I think it had probably I don't remember exactly, but it was started off I think with political things, and then it got personal. And Stroman, he said Aubrey said to Stroman that story about him kicking out the 30 minor leaguers and out of the gym. And apparently, like I remember Randall Gritchuk like might have liked or retweeted it because it happened, right? And then Stroman saw that again, got offended, and started a whole ass fight with Gritchuk on Twitter. And I was like, bro, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, that like, and even Gritchuk said, hey man, like it's nothing personal, nothing personal. It's actually this is what happened, and he's telling the truth, and I liked it because it actually happened. Nothing personal. He's like, I hope you have a good day, my man. Like, fuck, he wasn't trying to cause any fights. Strowman's like, oh yeah, you don't, yeah, you always used to talk shit about me, blah blah blah, and all these fucking bullshit. And I remember yeah, Strowman blocked me on Twitter actually after that because I commented and I was like, dude, I'd rather have Gritchuk on my team than you, bro. Way better leader, and like, look at you, cause crying like a baby on Twitter because former teammate goes against you like that, like for something that actually happens, like. And Grichuk's has more value to the Jays than Strowman does because obviously Grichuk's still there, so he's doing something right, and you weren't doing something right, Stro. So I'm sorry, man. Like you used to be one of my favorite fucking pitchers, man. You used to be one of my favorite players in the league. I used to love the way you were, like, you were like you seemed pretty humble, but like at the same time you had a bit of a chip on your shoulder, which is okay. You can be humble, but you got to stick. You got to have a bit of an ego if you're gonna survive in pro sports. You got to have a bit of an ego. To kind of stick up for yourself, not to the point where it just pisses everybody off, but it's just. I remember even Greg Zahn said something about him a couple of years ago before he left Sportsnet. He might have said like, Stroman's just an example of like an athletes that grow up in a generation in a time where their parents tell them that they can do whatever they want and that they're good and that they can never criticize them, right? And it's shown now. And it's a problem with a lot of these millennial athletes is like they can't take like getting yelled at by coaches. Football like that too. Like millennial football players are not used to getting yelled at by coaches in football. Like even hockey too. Like um, it's and you get like kind of more the old school coaches that are going to get in your face, right? And now mind you, there's a way to do it. You got to yell at the player to kind of get him going. If he's being lazy, I totally get it. But example like what Babcock did to Marner back then was pretty fucking fucked, man. That's again completely unprofessional. But again, Babs owned up to it, and he apologized, which is good. Which I'm kind of surprised he got a coaching job again, but it's a discussion for another time. Yeah, I don't know, man. Stro, you really showed your true colors after you left Toronto. And even when you got traded to the Mets, you threw a fit in the locker room. I remember seeing one of the Blue Jays insiders that was outside the locker room ready to interview players, and he heard Stroman yelling at the coaching staff because again he got traded and he got traded to a team he probably didn't want to be. He didn't want to be there at first, right? Because he wanted the Yankees the whole time. I mean, Stro, man, if you want to play for a team like the Yankees, um, they're like probably have very heavy media criticism over there. Obviously, the biggest market in the MLB. Um, you got again, if you're not performing, they're gonna dig right into you. So if you're just gonna be the way you are in a big market like New York or Boston, you're not gonna even Toronto. I mean, shit. Like even here, the Toronto media members were criticizing him, and he couldn't fucking handle it. So yeah, man, fuck. I don't get Stroman too, man. He just has this attitude that like just because he's fucking 5 foot nothing, he fucking thinks he's fucking he's just gotta fight everybody because he's just fucking buddy. Like you're 100 pounds soaking wet. Like I've taken shits bigger than you. Like, bro, come on. Don't gotta have this fucking attitude for no reason. Nobody fucking cares about you anyways. You're a fucking bottom. bottom guy on the rotation on most teams. You're a fourth guy. You're a third or fourth on the fucking Mets right now, bro. You're below DeGrom, Syndergaard. I think it was fucking other guy. There's another pitcher too. Like, bro, you're behind all those guys. You're a fucking bum. Like, stop having this fucking attitude. You haven't done shit. But anyways, let's get away from that. But yeah, no, the Jays playing good. I mean, George Springer didn't play yesterday. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, obviously, it's still the first preseason game. It's nothing really, not a big deal. You know, there's lots of preseason and lots of baseball. I'm just happy that they're gonna have a full season though. That's all I'm happy about. So, a full 162 games, and it's gonna be be better. It'd be a lot better. That's all I'm gonna say. Better than 60 games last year. Like, it was last year was okay. I mean, obviously the Jays did what they did. They made the playoffs, and they upset a lot of people by making the playoffs. Like, I thought they were just gonna be another year of rebuild, but Ryu stepped up really good and played really well. Looked like a real ace. Stroman. That's what a real ace looks like. Stroman. Look at Hyunjin Ryu. What he did. That's what a real ace does. Not your fucking dumbass shit. So yeah, that's it for baseball. Pretty excited, man. Spring training's back. Got all the kids coming out, the prospects, and yeah, it's good. So yeah, man, Habs fans have our MTL talk. Oh, by the way, before I start, I'm thinking of starting a segment on this show, you know, specifically to Habs talk, because I know a lot of my Twitter followers, I think like 95% of my Twitter followers are Habs fans. So just, got some content for you guys, and, on the outside too. I'm either gonna call it Puck Talk or MTL Talk. I'm still thinking about it, still in the motions. We'll see. I like to though, but anyways, just to recapping that game from the other day, the Habs and Jets game on Saturday. They played really well. They really outchanced and outplayed Winnipeg. Connor Hellebuyck, gotta give the man credit there. He really stepped up. He really played a great game. I mean, overall, it was a great goaltending matchup between Jake Allen and Connor Hellebuyck. Two solid goalies there. That was a really good game. They played better structure wise, I think. I mean, there was a couple of times it looked a little sloppy, but I mean, for the most part, again, they were outchancing them, outscoring them. Just Connor Hellebuyck, just standing on his head. That's it, and that's what he's done for a while since he's got to Winnipeg, and it's a fantastic goalie, and it's good to Winnipeg's got a good goalie they've had for a while now. They were lacking goaltending for years before Hellebuyck came, so good for them. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they both kept their teams in it, obviously, but again, Ducharme, everyone's again freaking out about the same Philip Dano playing on the 3-on-3, which I don't agree with. But honestly, like with me, it's a new coach. You don't want to throw in the white towel, the white flag, whatever you want. You don't want to throw in the surrender flag right away. Give Ducharme time. Ducharme works really good with young players. I mean, Coach Junior, World Juniors, you name it. He's had success everywhere he's gone. So just sit back and let it happen. And just take a deep breath. I trust Ducharme's judgment with this team. I hope Drouin starts playing with a lot of confidence. Which he has. Don't get me wrong. I love Joe. I love Joe. He's been playing good this year, but I really think Ducharme's gonna help him get hit that ceiling, hit that ceiling that he's hit in the past. I was watching a clip the other day, and I remember the goal. It was a 3-on-3 overtime against Colorado from like 2017 when he was on Tampa, and man, just he looked so electrifying there. Like, he carried the whole overtime. He had the puck the most of the time. He scored the overtime winner. Um, I think a lot of people, hockey fans, remember which goal I'm talking about. I would try to share it on here, but like I checked the last time I tried to share content on here, it was fucking blurry as fuck. So I gotta get some better equipment in the future. But yeah, man, just give Ducharme time, guys. Don't freak out right away. Um, he's had success everywhere he's gone, so I'm not really scared. I mean, it is a shortened season. You got to win every game. Every game is crucial, especially how they're only facing divisional matchups. So the time is ticking. I understand the stress and anxiety from Habs Nation and Habs Twitter, obviously, but so you got to give him at least a handful, 10 games the most. The players have to buy in, and he has to buy into the players. So it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. Um, I mean, I think a lot of he's very well respected around the league. Ducharme, he's had success everywhere he's gone. So I'm not too worried about that. So um, I don't know, man. Uh, Again, I don't know if you guys saw. Oh, yeah, first, let me say one more thing. Yeah, about the game on Saturday. I think if the Josh Anderson was in the lineup, he's nursing an injury right now. Josh Anderson was in the lineup. I think they would have won. Obviously, he's a difference maker. He's a game breaker. That kid skates so well for a bigger power forward. I think he would have made a big difference. He probably could have plotted a goal or two. He has a lot of um, high danger or high risk scoring chances. I guess you can say that the advanced stats say he looks like he's always around the net making things happen. So I think they would have he would have made a difference. But he's day to day. He's doubtful for tomorrow's game against Ottawa. Ducharme made an update on him. So hopefully Andy comes back soon. I've been a fan of that kid. Like I think I've said on this show before, but I've been a huge fan of that kid before Montreal. I remember seeing him in Columbus, and he fought Zdeno Chara, and he actually challenged Chara. That's the thing. After I saw that clip, I was like, Chara gave like a dirty hit. Not a well, I don't remember. It might have been a borderline dirty hit. I don't remember exactly, but it was a hard hit, and he didn't like it too much, and he stuck up for himself and actually challenged Daniel Chara to drop his gloves. And after that, I was like, I fucking like this kid, man. There's not many fucking people in the league that would do that. There's not many that would challenge Chara like that. I think Evander Kane was one of them, and even he's got balls too. But yeah, I don't know, man. One more topic on the Habs before we move on, but uh, again, Philip Deneau just looks awful. He looked awful. He was just puck. He's just doing a lot of puck watching this year. He's not. He doesn't even look like he wants to be there. So, Habs fans, regardless of if they're in it or not, and by the deadline, do you think it's time to trade Philip Deneau? That's a big question. I know he's going to be a free agent in the offseason. Give or take, he won't be back. But it feels like his attitude is. I Again, I don't want to start creating rumors, but um, I feel like his comments about his role being diminished and taking a smaller role, and the contract offer, and again his overall attitude this year, I think it's really been a distraction on the team down the stretch. The beginning of the season, he was pushing hard, I'll say, but as the season's gone on, he just does not look like he wants to be there anymore, and it's not good. It's not, and they're giving this guy fucking top six ice time, and just doesn't look like he wants to be there. If you guys saw the overtime winner from Saturday night, he was standing right in front of Allen, screening him, and he's just puck watching and just no effort to reach back. Like I don't know, man. Yeah, apparently he rejected this was the start of the season. It was trending on Twitter actually. I remember seeing this. He supposedly rejected a $5 million AAV for 6 years. So 6 years, 5 million, $30 million contract from the Habs is an extension, and he apparently rejected that, and he thinks he's worth more, which I don't know. Like I get like, hey, he wants to prove that he's worth more. There's nothing wrong with that. I get it. I totally get it. But the way he's conducting himself right now, I've lost a shit ton of respect for Dano. I used to be one of my favorite players on this team. Even in the bubble last year, he was against. I love Dano. He's again just a French Canadian player. Again, he was pretty decent for the Habs. Um, man, it's frustrating. He hasn't scored a goal that wasn't an empty netter in a calendar year now. Like it was like the other day. I think it was a year since he's actually scored a goal on a goalie that was an empty netter. Like a goal. Sorry, it hasn't been an empty netter. It's that's bad. And this guy wants even that 5 million per year for a guy who hasn't even scored a goal this year. Had it barely scored in the bubble. Like, not good. I'm so happy that he rejected that contract. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, maybe again, if he took that deal and maybe he'd be more motivated now. Maybe he would be playing better, right? Because he's got a contract. He's got his contract negotiations out of the way. He's happy. Both parties are happy. Maybe he would be playing better, but that's yet to be seen. But right now, it's looking like it's good that he didn't take it, and the Habs dodged a bullet with that supposed contract extension. Again, and it's just not like him. I mean, he is a +5 I saw the other day, which is good, but I mean, like, doesn't look like it at all. He looks awful out there, especially in overtime. He should not be there on overtime. He's a great defensive player. He's got a good stick. Uh, and again, his good defensive awareness and good stick is what makes up for his lack of foot speed. I mean, I would say he's slow, but he's not the fastest skater out there. So his defensive awareness definitely makes up for his kind of limited foot speed. So um, yeah, I don't know, man. It's so frustrating, and again, the fucking Bergeron compare. I think honestly, the Patrice Bergeron comparisons have really gotten to his head, which is another reason why. And saying how he doesn't want a diminished role because he thinks he's Patrice Bergeron, but like the fact that he thinks he's worth more than the 30 mil for 6 years is pretty fucking sad because I mean, his career high total is 53 points. Um, I didn't know the NHL pays guys that get under. He hasn't even hit 60 points, like for God's sakes. And he's frustrated about his ice time and that he wasn't getting. He's not getting ice time. The kids are getting more ice time than him. Suzuki, even though he's above the depth chart on Kakanyemi, which is bullshit. But um, dude, like dude, the team's given you chances to be a top line center. It's not like they didn't give you any opportunity. They did. They did for like what, 2 years maybe? Yeah, like 2, 3 years they gave him chances to be a top line center. Like, dude, you're not a top six, you're not a good second liner, but like, dude, you're not a top line center. You don't have the offensive capability to be a top line center. We put you in situations that, because again, your defensive ability is really good. But dude, it's not it, bro. It's not it, Chief. Like, I don't know what you think you are, Philip Duno. Like, I don't know who you think you are, but you're not Patrice Bergeron. You haven't even hit 60 points in a season. So you got to kind of humble yourself a little bit and kind of like chill because it's not it, Chief. It's not it. So personally, if the Habs are like really at the bottom of the standings by the deadline, do fucking anything to get him out, please. Like if he just had again the shitty attitude this year, it's so fucking noticeable. It's like you don't want fucking guys like that who are supposed to be vets at this point. He's what, 27, 26, maybe older, 27, 28. Either way, he's well into his 20s now, and he's supposed to be a leader on this team. And with his shitty attitude like that, how the fuck are you supposed to set an example for these kids that are coming up? For like the Suzukis and the KKs and God, if even Caulfield, I don't think he'll play this year with the team, but even if Caulfield eventually, if he may plays on the team, what kind of example are you setting to these guys? It's like you got to lead by example, on and off the ice, and he's not doing that. So uh, that's that. Honestly, man, I used to be one of my favorite players. I have in my room, I have a Dano one of those custom hoodies or whatever. I got it like last year. And I was like, oh, he's one of my favorite players right now. And now it's just like, you did it to yourself, man. Like, I don't know what else to say, man. Like, usually, I feel bad for these athletes, and even on Habs Twitter, they've been fucking ripping on them like crazy. But usually, I feel bad for these players that struggle, and it's like it's just because they're struggling. It's just it happens as a professional athlete. It's hard to stay consistent for your whole career. You're gonna have struggling points, but for him, like the way he's conducted himself, like I know it sounds bad, but I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for him. Like, Carey Price's struggles, like, yes, I'm frustrated, but I feel bad for Carey because again, he conducts himself in a way better way and he takes accountability for his bad play. Deneau doesn't. He hasn't. He just again he thinks he's Patrice Bergeron. So playing a number one center on a rebuilding team has gotten to his head. So anyways, whatever happens with him, honestly, if he leaves, I would not be upset. Like, good riddance. I'm sorry, but played yourself, bro. So, now, the last two topics here, we're gonna kind of get away from the sports. Actually, this is kind of like more real things, more real issues, I guess you can say. Um, I saw this video the other day on Instagram, and it was quite amazing. The source was Real Toronto News. I follow it's like a media news page, I guess, like Instagram news page. Real Toronto News. Shout out to them, by the way. But apparently in Mexico, there was a gay couple that got arrested in Mexico for kissing in front of kids. Um, I don't really see the big deal with that. I mean, everyone has their opinion on that. I mean, a lot of the comments on like the comment section were very homophobic, and personally, I don't see an issue with that. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with gay people. Like, there are people like you and I, just because they don't, they like the same sex. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, comments were pretty disgusting, actually. People were like, oh, good. I'm like, the fuck? Like, I mean, if they were like getting engaged in like some kind of like sexual activity on the beach in front of kids, okay, I get it. Like, both, it doesn't matter, gay or straight. That's inappropriate. You should go to jail for that. But like, they just simply just kissing. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I've seen gay people kiss in public. It's not a big deal. Who cares? Let them be. Um, like I don't get it. Like, I don't get why the gay community, the LGBTQ, I don't get sometimes why they get so much hate on the internet. Um, they get called bad words like the F word. Like, I'm not gonna say that word on here. It's very disgusting, and I'll get into that word in a while. Uh, I mean, again, the thing is, homosexuality, it's just starting to get noticed and normalized in our society. So, people are, it's going to take a long time for people to get used to it. I understand, because it's just something new, but at the same time, it's like it's not a horrible thing. Like, they're not, again, like, you just kiss your partner in public or at a beach. Like, I don't know why the fuck. I mean, the good thing about Canada and the U.S. and some countries, and I was talking on the comment section, and Canada, great thing about Canada, like, Canada's not perfect. There's a lot of problems with this country right now, but, and the US too, lots of problems. But again, at least, they treat gay people better than most of the world, where gay marriage is legal in both of the countries. Um, some parts of Europe too, like, I think England and France are very accepting of them, which is good. A lot of like the very um that's the word. Like, I guess, like, I don't know. A lot of the countries in Europe, like, I guess, like the conservative ones, I guess, like the super like kind of far right countries, I guess you could say, or like the very like Christian countries, I guess. They're very like obviously not accepting of them. Um, Personally, with me, like, again, I'm not a super practicing Christian, but I am to a certain extent. Like, I still hold some of my values, but like at the same time, like, I have no problem with gay marriage. It's like, hey, if you're happy, you're happy. I mean, like shit. There's a lot of gay marriages last longer than the heterosexual marriages. So I mean, hey, if you're happy, then fuck. What's my business if you're happy, right? Or anyone else's. So um, yeah, just it's pretty crazy. I mean, like again, just every time there's anything brought up about the gay community and on the internet, like the comment section is just absolute like an absolute war zone. It's crazy, but again, it's just starting to get normalized now. Like personally, I it took me a while to kind of get used to things like that because again, I wasn't used to it growing up. But now I'm just like, you know what? It's not a big deal, man. Like it's like fuck, there's a lot of most of the gay people I've met are very nice people. They're, and even on social media, I've met like have some friends on social media that are gay, and I think in high school and elementary school, I had like a bisexual friend, and like there's nothing wrong with it, man. Like I remember him when one of I'm obviously not going to name drop, but I remember he told me we had a party at my house, and then after everybody left, he was waiting for his mom to pick him up, and he's like, "Hey, man, I gotta tell you something." And it's like, I think I'm bisexual, like, and I was like, he's like, "Don't worry, like, I'm not, he's like, I'm not gonna make a move on you." I was like, but he's like, I just, and I remember it was like grade 11 or something, and I was like, "Hey," I was like, "Dude, don't even worry about it. I'm still gonna treat you the same way, like." I'm still gonna treat you the same way. You're still my friend, regardless if you're gay or straight, right? So, personally, like, it shouldn't change anything. I mean, people will start. I think people will start to be more accepting. I think as the years go on, just like with racism back then. I had a good conversation with my girlfriend about that. Back then, like racism was obviously like huge part of our like the society, not our society, sorry, but like back then, it was more normalized to be racist and discriminatory like that. And again, people learned that got more educated and they learned and they became better people, right? And they're like, oh, that's not good to say words like that. Like, even with like the gay community, like, saying the F word, like I'm not gonna say it because that's a very inappropriate word. And the F word that ends in the T, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say that on here. It's again very, very horrible words. And for the longest time, honestly, like I'm gonna confess something. I didn't know how this is the seriousness of how bad that word is. Um, just like how back then, I bet maybe a lot of our parents, a lot of people maybe that are listening to this that maybe had baby boomer parents grew up in a time where, the N word was okay. Like they made it okay to say the N word all the time, which is not okay, right? I think it was Quinn. Quinn actually told me this. And when I kind of started to realize, I was like, yeah, like, it's not okay to say that word. But yeah, he told me like the F word, like with the T in the end, is like almost basically the equivalent of saying the N word. And I've talked to a lot of people about that too. And yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's awful. I will never say that to like just so loosely like that. Like just even just in general, I'll never say a word like that. And I understand the seriousness of the word now. And just, and like again, like me, I'm pretty politically incorrect in many ways. But again, there's thing like, I'm against the whole PC culture, but at the same time, there's just some words you shouldn't say, like the F word and the N word, other slurs. Like you just shouldn't say those. Like there's difference between just like speaking your mind a little bit, but then there's just words you should not say like that. So, um, and like I'm gonna confess something too. Like I didn't understand. For years I didn't understand the seriousness of that word, the F word, and I remember like I think it was like 5 years ago, 5 and a bit years ago. I was hanging out with some friends and we were outside. I think it was like Brampton, if any of you guys know Chinguacousy Park, and we were just joking. I was joking around with one of my friends, one of my homies, and I was like, oh, we used to just call each other names. He called me like just whatever, and I remember I called him. I said you effing F word. F word with a T, and I said it out loud like in a public place and one of the people we were hanging out with, she was, a bisexual woman, part of the LGBTQ community, and she got really offended, right? She's like, "Oh, it's a horrible word. You shouldn't be saying that." And I was basically like, "Ah, shut the fuck up, you snowflake. Shut up. Like, the fuck, just fucking deal with it," kind of attitude. Like, And I was like, oh, freedom of speech, but like that was like 5 years ago, right? I didn't, and even people were like even some of my friends were like, yeah, no, that was kind of like really bad. And I was like, what the fuck, like fucking people are so sensitive. But like then I realized I was like, no, like now I think about it, like yeah, no, she had a right to be upset. Like I mean, she is part of the community. She's part of the gay community, and obviously that's an extremely horrible word, and in many ways, and like horrible history behind it. And again, I didn't understand the seriousness of it. Like I had poor judgment on that, and I do take full ownership of using that word a lot in the past. And again, because you don't know. There's no education on it, right? And now it's good that it's being brought up. That um, what do you call it? It's good that there's education and awareness. I guess you can say the word is for the use of that word and how you shouldn't use it. And yeah, no, it's I would never say that word ever again. Um, you know, now I understand the seriousness of it, and like how again it's a very very just like how the N word, sorry, has a bad history of a lot of hate and oppression behind it. So is the F word with the F without the T or with the T, like the longer version. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of hate and oppression behind that word, and a lot of history behind it. And I'm kind of happy I know better now. And most people are like me, like we just don't understand because again they don't bring it. And I understand why the girl there got offended, and she's probably not watching, but you probably don't know who you are too. But I do apologize. Years later I'm coming out and I'm saying that was wrong of me to say, and I know better now. So most people do, and it's good that they do. So um, one more thing, I'm going to go on to the next topic after, but one more thing too is with the gay community. I've talked to people too, like that have said like, oh, if I had a gay son, I'd disown them and shit like that. Like that's so fucked up, man. Like I mean, I remember my parents and I talked about that recently because we were talking about the LGBTQ. And my dad even said like my dad grew up in a very like Christian, like Roman Catholic, like Italian hardcore Christian household. My mom too, both of them. And they both said like, hey, if you're gay, like, or obviously I know I'm straight like now, like, but my brother and I was saying if you guys are gay or were like if you were, we'd still support you and still treat you the same, like we would never disown you. So it's good. That's the problem too, is a lot of like first I can say like good my parents would still be supportive. Like there's not many parents out there, especially my parents are baby boomers, right? And boomers. But not many parents would be supportive. And I've talked to people that literally said, oh, like I would disown my kid. Like that's so fucked up, man. Like yes, it would be hard to accept because you're not gonna have kids that are that are your blood, grandkids, sorry, grandkids that are gonna be your blood. Like that would be hard to accept. I understand, but there's nothing wrong with your kids being gay, man. Like it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, it's 2021, so if people can come out and it's comfortable for them, that's okay. Um, yeah, that's what I'll say. This the gay community. Just don't be afraid, because we're more supportive now. The most of the world is North America mainly. There's a lot of countries in the world that still hate gay people and kill them. It's fucked up. It's got to change, because like at the end of the day, we're all human. That's what I say. Like I don't know why they divide us by like race and skin color and sexual orientation, gender, all these like different labels. Like I don't know why they divide. Like we're all humans in the end. Like there's just fuck. Just be there for each other. Like geez, man. Anyways, yeah, just again to the to the LGBTQ community or the gay community. Just don't worry. It's don't feel threatened. We're pretty fortunate. Especially in Canada. US. We're pretty fortunate in many ways that, we live in a part of the world where, we're there, you're accepted, where you're accepted. And that's, yeah, don't just, you're safe and that's it. So, yeah, it's pretty deep talks there. Something I wanted to talk about. And, I was thinking about that the last few days. And it's good that, kind of want to talk about that. I think that's something our audience, my audience, sorry, would like, kind of get away from the sports and talk about some serious stuff, kind of balance out the content. So, I don't know if you guys saw though. I mean, it's not really funny, but hear about the 44-year-old mother in Northern California. Her three kids got expelled from their school for because she had an OnlyFans account, and I don't I don't know. I don't know. First of all, that's really sus to be like, how do they find the fucking account? Whoever it was, how the fuck did you find the account? Like, I don't know, man. But personally, like, I mean, I don't get it. Like, I don't get why. Like, the kids. First of all, it's nothing that happened on school property. Like, if she was doing it on the school property, like taking like pictures in like lingerie and her underwear, makes sense. But it's at her own home, like, and it's a Catholic school, so obviously I'm gonna say like I understand both sides, so I gotta get into that in a bit. But apparently she was making 150,000 a month, and Crystal Jackson, known as Tiffany Poindexter or Miss Poindexter, that's her OnlyFans name. She's been doing it since like July 2019 or something. Makes 150,000 a month. Holy shit, man! Like, hey, especially with times right now where there's no jobs with COVID and like businesses are closing down, you got to do what you got to do to survive, man. Everyone's got to eat. So, um, again, I don't. Like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into the opinion side of this now, but personally, I don't think kids should be suspended, expelled, or expelled. Sorry, you got expelled. Uh, they shouldn't get expelled for something they didn't do, first of all, and something that didn't happen on school property. Like, it doesn't make sense. Um, like, I don't know. It's a little bit over the top, and I think the mom was getting bullied too. Miss Crystal Jackson there. Apparently she was getting bullied by other moms too, and like, like, I don't think that's right. Would the reaction have been the same if she was a stripper, an escort, a prostitute, or worked at a massage parlor, like the what kind of massage parlors I'm talking about? Like, she was a sex worker in another way, would it have gotten the same reaction? Who knows? We don't know. Like, I just would I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe that's an opinion for everybody to have. But um, I just think that was a little bit over the top. I mean, like, the kids didn't do anything wrong. Why are you making the kids suffer for that? Like, that's her choice. That she did that. So, and one more thing too. Like, it wasn't like she was cheating on her husband and like fucking dudes on there, like sucking dick or something on there. It's like, bro, she was just taking pictures in lingerie. She's a very pretty woman, actually. Like, like, she's a very handsome woman. But her husband was managing the OnlyFans account and like taking the pictures for her. And she's not doing really anything sexual in them. It's just pictures of her in lingerie. I mean, like, yo, nobody's getting hurt, right? Uh but I mean, at the same time, I do understand. Again, on the being Roman Catholic, like, I do understand on their side too. That stuff is kind of frowned upon. I get it. Like, again, growing up in a Christian household, like, that would, in a Catholic household, going to Catholic schools my whole life, like, that again, that would just not slide. So, yeah, the fact that her kids went to a Catholic school, I think, is the reason why it happened. If they were just in a regular public school, move on with your day. But again, like, bullying the mom isn't okay. Bullying anybody for, is not okay. But let me say this. Before everyone freaks out. But again, that is a controversial life choice that she made by doing that, by being an OnlyFans model. So there's a difference between bullying and criticizing, you're gonna face I've made controversial life decisions and have faced backlash and a lot of criticism for, and I've lived with them. So if you make controversial life choices, hey, you gotta deal with backlash and criticism, and not everyone's gonna agree and respect it, right? It's just the way the world works. Um, yeah, like I don't know. Again, we've all made bad, like controversial life choices, or some even bad life choices that weren't respected by everyone. And hey, that's just how it is. Not everyone's going to respect the choices you make, and you cannot make everybody happy. Um, and again, like with the fact that she's making 150,000 a month, good for you, girl. Good for you. Fucking taking charge. Good for you. I respect the grind, though. Honestly, I do respect the grind. 150,000 a month. That's like some people make that in a year. Um, and she looks like a very nice woman. She's not like a mean, a mean woman. She looks like a very like nice, sweet, good loving mother. Um, yeah, it's and again with COVID, it's been hard. Like, who knows? Maybe she lost her job. I don't know the backstory on her. Like the poor, maybe her husband lost her job or she lost her job during COVID. I mean, living in California, there's a good chance they did, unfortunately, because I don't want to get into that. But um, yeah, like everyone's got to eat. Like I said a couple minutes ago, like everyone's got to eat, man. Like everyone's got to eat. She's got kids. Her husband, her and her husband, they got kids. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in times like this. Desperate time. I don't want to say it in a bad way, but like desperate times mean desperate measures, right? They always say that, and uh, I respect the grind though, Miss Jackson, Crystal Jackson. I respect the grind. Um, Now, again, she wasn't cheating on the husband, so there's that. Mind you, though, I kind of do feel bad for the kids, though, because I mean, if my mom ever did that, I would be scarred for life, and I'd probably need therapy. But man, at the same time, I do feel bad for the kids because like those kids are gonna be known as like the mom, like the kids with the OnlyFans mom, and like though some of their like classmates are gonna like buy the fucking content. They're gonna like be like chirping the kids in class wherever they go. Oh yeah, I got your mom's OnlyFans. Like that's in that sense again, I understand the criticism because like she got kids, right? Like but at the same time, hey, I respect the grind. She's making 150K a month on average. Like fuck, bro. I have never even seen 150K in my life, so gotta respect the grind. And again, I to cap that off, like, I do understand both sides of this topic. I understand both sides, and again, I pointed out both sides, gave a very non-objective take on it. Hopefully, I did. Maybe people won't think I did, but I gave kind of a little bit of both sides of what I think both sides feel. But yeah, no, it's been man. I gotta say too, like I didn't really know what OnlyFans was until last year, until quarantine, until it started getting very popular. It took over the internet, by the way, last year during quarantine, because again, a lot of people were out of work, men and women. And don't get me wrong, it's not just women on OnlyFans. There's men on OnlyFans too. So both trying to just do it, just fucking just survive. And I mean, it's obviously been a good source of income for Miss Jackson here and Mrs. Jackson there, and uh some people just didn't know what else to do because you lose your jobs and some of your jobs aren't coming back, and this is a good replacement. I mean, fuck, $150,000 a month, bro. I wouldn't fucking go back to my day job with that. The fuck you mean? Um, Personally, I was like, just my honesty here. I was kind of against it. I was like, oh, what the fuck, like go get a real job. My attitude was go get a 9 to 5. Everyone says, but like now I just kind of thought about it, kind of analyzed it more, and I'm just like, times like right now, there's not many 9 to 5 jobs right now, so it's unfortunate, but that's just the way the world is, and it is what it is, I respect it, people are just trying to get by, and that's it. Not much you can do. we're all struggling, some more than others. But I don't know, man. OnlyFans though really took over the internet. Like again, for most people, I think most people that are watching my show, I think know what OnlyFans is. But if there's anyone that doesn't know what OnlyFans is, basically OnlyFans is the uncensored version of Instagram. Instagram, you can't post nude pictures, you can't post sexual videos or pictures, of sexual acts being performed. Um, a lot of the Instagram models went to OnlyFans like when it started getting popular, and they've made a career on it. Like they made a pretty good career on it. So you know what? Just everyone's got to eat. There's a lot. The internet provides a lot of good employment opportunities. Obviously, technology, like just as a whole, I've talked about this. How technology is, it's taking over the world. So definitely taking over the world. It's killing the working class. Like I said, I think I said that in another episode. But honestly, like this might be. I don't know if anyone really agrees with this, but with the way the world is going into, like, with COVID and like there's nothing open anymore. There's like the OnlyFans, I think, is really gonna take a chunk out of like the strip club industry. Like a lot of this, like the other sex work or sex worker work, I guess you can say. Strip clubs and like the fucking massage. I don't know if I'm right. This is just an opinion I just thought about, but I think it's gonna take over eventually because everything's electronic now. Um, Obviously, like this COVID's really killed like the nightclub industry, like the gentleman's club, like what I'm talking about. But I think personally, the people making the content would probably rather be on OnlyFans than work at a strip club because first off, hey, you're in the comfort of your own home. Two, you don't have to like give um services. I want to say this is like the most like correct, like clean and good way as possible. But services to like you don't have to give services to men that you don't know, and a lot of them are disgusting. Like I mean, I've been to strip clubs quite a lot in my time, and a lot of them people that go there are fucking disgusting. And sometimes I feel bad for them. I see them going upstairs with these like nasty ass dudes. I'm like, oh man, I feel so sorry for her. But hey, everyone's got to eat, right? But yeah, like the people that make the OnlyFans content, for their accounts, hey, they can do those kind of things if they want. Obviously sexual acts. There's video, whatever. Like they do it with people they want to do it with. It's more of a consent thing, I guess. And yeah, I just think in that sense too. I think OnlyFans content creators are gonna. I think they're gonna like that more instead of just going to working at a strip club and you know doing services for every Tom, Tim, and Buck, right? So I don't know. I could be wrong. Could be right. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's just an opinion I have. That's why it's just an opinion. I don't know if it's fact. We'll see what the future holds. Um, but yeah, no. I mean, I didn't really know much. Again, I didn't really know much about OnlyFans until last year when it started getting very popular. And like, I remember seeing a bunch of people I follow on Instagram, just made accounts because everyone's out of work and just bored and don't really know what else to do with your time. And it's just, hey, I respect that. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, especially if you got rent, you got mortgage, even you got car payments, you got grocery bills, whatever it is, man. I used to be very, very against it. I used to be like, like whatever, blah blah blah. But like, hey, most and people are like, oh, only fans and this and that, but it's like you still watch porn, right? So what's the difference? It's almost the same thing, more or less. So yeah, yeah, it's just tough times, and everyone's just got to eat, man. That's all. That's all I keep. I know I keep on saying that too much, but everybody's got to eat. These times, ooh, excuse me. These times, we're all struggling. A lot of us are, and some things just change, and that's it. So, um, anyways, it's almost an hour on this episode, so gonna cap it off here. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Yeah, man, I gotta fucking do better at this. But again, thanks again, guys, for joining me today. Happy Monday, happy March 1st. Again, I hope this month provides you with many great opportunity and a lot of happiness, because we've been lacking a lot of both the last year. So, anyways, this is Adrian. This is Project 24, and we are signing off.